Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. I thought I would talk about something today that I've made a little short, like one of the little short Facebook videos that I do, just for like topics that I don't think are kind of big enough or in depth enough or whatever for YouTube. But yeah, I made a quick little video the other day about so when it comes to sort of making a tank look pretty, more than just making sure the fish are okay, but like more the aesthetic side of things. I made a little video about what I think is the secret that people don't really talk about. It gets talked about a bit in the sort of marine and like reefing world, but not so much in the freshwater side of things. So I thought I'd make a little video talking about that. So yeah, what we'll do is kind of the same little thing that we usually do is I'm going to walk around and just show you guys the fish while I talk. Although this one there might be a bit more visual kind of tools I might use, but we'll see how we go. So the other day I made it about this tank here, which by the way has some fry in it. They are hanging out all the way like back through here and everything, so I doubt we'll see them. But there is fry, Neolamprologus brevis fry. But you can kind of see it. It's a little bit harder to tell on camera, but it's definitely there. Like we've got diatoms and green hair algae and everything, and the plants aren't looking too happy and all this kind of stuff. And I find, just in my kind of experience talking to people like customers and other hobbyists and stuff, people at this kind of stage, if this was someone's tank at home, they would, oh, there's one of the brevis, they would be looking to get fish to eat the algae, or wanting to add sea chem excel or apt fix or whatever, and like kind of trying to just throw a lot at the problem to see if that'll fix it. But what I think, like, that definitely helps in the short term, but overall what I reckon is there is no sort of substitute or artificial additive or anything that'll kind of replace just giving the tank time to mature. Like, I don't think there's any sort of way around it. Sorry, I just had a customer come in, so it's a bit of an awkward sort of cut there. But yeah, basically I just think time is so valuable in kind of getting a tank established and settled in more of an aesthetic sense. Like, getting a tank settled to the point where it's safe to for fish, and like getting your denitrifying bacteria thriving and all this kind of thing is not necessarily going to take that long. Maybe it'll take a week or a couple of weeks if you seed it with cycled media. But I mean more in the sense of like an aesthetic side of things. So like this tank here is been set up for maybe 2 years, I'd say. About there at least. And when I first set it up, there was just algae growing all over all the stuff. The water was always cloudy, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, now it's been like 2 years. The water is like always crystal clear, if it focuses. But yeah, the water's always crystal clear. I never really have any trouble with, I never really have to scrub anything. I just do the water changes and the rest kind of takes care of itself. And that's the same with a lot of these kind of tanks here, is there's not really much to do in the sense of like actual hands-on sort of maintenance. It's more just keeping the water quality alright, because it's kind of already been through that stage of sort of sitting there waiting for the, I want to focus, that's weird. Oh yeah. Waiting for all the bacteria to establish, waiting for all the plants to settle down, waiting for everything to kind of calm down and level out. And once you get to that point, it is sort of set, and you don't have to worry so much about the actual hands-on maintenance. And I'm not trying to say that you don't have to do maintenance. It's more in the space of the physical kind of like scrubbing and cleaning and that sort of thing, which is not really needed once everything settles out. So yeah, I mean, it's something I'd say is really important for people to remember, is that your tank does need time. because at the end of the day we are keeping sort of nature in a glass box, and nothing in nature really happens all that fast. It's all very kind of slow and steady, and takes time to mature and everything like that. I think there is a lot of things that go on in our aquariums that we're just not sort of aware of, in terms of like microbial populations and like the growth of the fish and all this, which does take time to kind of get to that point. So if you've just set up a tank, like how I've just set up this shell dweller tank here, I'd say just remember to be patient to be able to get that sort of higher level of like cleanliness and display sort of orientation, because like I can remove all this hair algae, but I mean these plants aren't really growing yet, they've only just been added. All the microbial populations are sort of getting there, all this type of thing. So all this hair algae and stuff is just going to grow back, and these diatoms aren't going to go away anytime soon, and all this kind of thing. But it's not the end of the world, it's fine, because I'm setting up this tank. This tank isn't being set up for the short term, if that makes sense. An aquarium is going to be set up as like a long-term sort of thing, like a long-term project, like you want to keep it there for a while. And so riding out those first few months to kind of get it to that stage of aesthetically looking nice is well worth it in the end, and definitely goes a long way. I'd say just remember to be patient, and if you want to like deal with it in the short term, that's fine. Of course it's your tank, do whatever you want. Just don't forget that there is plenty of kind of time need to mature and to get to that stage where it can be a real like, oh my god, wow showpiece. And those sort of smaller things like your little bit of diatoms, a little bit of green here, a little bit of green spot algae, whatever, will take a little minute to get gone. But yeah, once you get there, you don't go back. Like it would be like, I mean, I suppose it does happen, but like so uncommon for like a tank that's been set up for 3 years to get diatoms or whatever. So kind of just riding it out until you get to that point where it kind of settles down, it makes a big difference in terms of people's enjoyment of the hobby. So yeah, I mean, don't lose faith. If you want to talk about it or like ask some questions or whatever, of course I'm always here. You can always either come into the shop or ring me or like email me, text me, Facebook message me, send a pigeon, and I'm more than happy to discuss it with you, kind of give you some pointers on how to minimize some problems, because that's another thing, is there is some ways to kind of minimize it that we don't talk about much in the freshwater side of things that probably do get talked about more in the marine side of things. So yeah, I mean, I'm always here, but yeah, basically the general thesis is time. Just be patient, it'll come. So yeah, I mean, thank you guys very much for watching. I'm very interested to hear what you might think about this kind of topic, what your sort of theories are, what little tweaks you might have to your systems to kind of minimize problems, and that sort of thing. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I think it's a really important one, especially for the beginners out there. So yeah, make sure to please like and subscribe. It really helps me out, goes a long way. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.